I hope you learned something in the last video and that you tried some of the keyboard shortcuts yourself. Finder is the heart of the Mac, and that's where all your programs, all your files, everything is located. In this video, we're going to talk about some genius Finder tips that will hopefully make your life a lot easier. So let's get to it. Finder is the heart of the Mac, meaning we have everything in here. And it's pretty simple to use in one way, yet it's extremely complicated in another way, because everything is stored here, meaning every application, every folder, every file, every setting. It's very hard to find all of this because it's kind of hidden in the system, but it's very important to have a understanding of how to use Finder and some of the basics. So let's get to it. The first thing I want to talk about is the sidebar, which you can see here. A lot of applications are built up like this, like you have a sidebar here, you have a main window here, and then you have a toolbar up here. So in Finder, we have a sidebar where we have a lot of folders. It will probably look a bit different for you because I've customized it. You can see I'm using iCloud, etc. So by having your most used folders here, you will pretty much have them quite or easily accessible. So by, for instance, going into downloads, you see all your downloads, pictures, etc. And how you can think about this is when you have a folder, for instance, in documents here, you can, or in the desktop, then you can drag this folder over to the sidebar. In the same sense, you can go up here to Finder and then Preferences, and then you can go to Sidebar, and here you see that you can tick off for every folder or system folder that you want to show in the sidebar. So I'll like to show the home folder. I'd recommend you to do the same. Whoops, there we go. I'd recommend you to tick off for pictures and movies and a lot of others as well. And then you can see it's starting to fill up here. So now I have system folders and I have some customized folders which I've put here myself. Then when we go to the home folder, and that is basically the name of your user on your Mac, then you can see that this is the structure of Finder. So you can see pictures is here and it's down here. Movies, it's here and it's down here. And you can see that the content is all the same. So it's kind of linked, and when you put something, let's say from pictures, whoops, I'll put this in here, and then I go to pictures, you can see it's all there. Normally, or for you, desktop and documents will probably be inside of the home folder as well. The reason why it's not here in my case, it's because I'm using iCloud and syncing everything up to iCloud. We're not going to go into that right now. So when I want to create a new folder, for instance in movies, then I can either do the secondary click, 2 fingers on the trackpad, and then do folder, or I can use the gear icon up here. So I can do new folder, I can change the name, move to trash, I can do a lot of different stuff up here. So clicking the gear icon is pretty much the same as doing the secondary click when it comes to Finder. So I'll do new folder, and then I'll actually put it down here, and then call it some documents or some movies. Hit enter, and then I can drag whatever I want into that folder. Let's just say I'll do this one right now. And then I can create another folder, new folder, movies part 2, and then you can structure this however you want. Something that is quite confusing to a lot of people is that when you open Finder, the folder that opens is quite often not really a folder, but it's called All My Files, and here you can see kind of every file that is on your user on your Mac. So when you open Finder and the All My Files folder pops up, then it's kind of confusing to a lot of people. So what I often recommend is go to Preferences and then go General, and then you can click not Documents, but then probably All My Files, which it says for you, and then go, for instance, Documents or Desktop. Then when you open Finder, instead of seeing All My Files, you'll see the selected folder, and that can actually be every or whatever folder. You can choose that yourself. So when we work with the file and folder structures, sometimes it's very hard to understand where in the system you are. So then I often recommend to go to View and then Show the Path Bar. And then you can see down here, I'm showing in hiding bar or something showing where I am in the system. So now I'm on my computer or my Mac, Users, Apple Courses Online, Movies, Some Movies, and then Movies Part 2. And since I'm using the columns view, it's pretty easy to see the same right now, but let's say I was in this type of view. Then it's very hard to, okay, what folder am I in? I can just click here, and I can move back and forth. So it makes it a lot easier to move around and to structure and use Finder. Okay, so that was a very brief introduction to Finder as well. Of course, there are tons of things you can do and you should know, but this was a brief introduction. So try it yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.